Hey friends, welcome back. It's been a little bit since I have done a video. Um, it is a gorgeous day here in my little corner of paradise. So I thought I would sit outside on this Labor Day weekend. I don't know how we got to September, but here we are, September 2nd, 2024. That is just insane. I'm trying to grow my bangs out, so they're kind of bugging me. Um, my neighbors are having a party, so if you hear some noise, that's them. I've been out with the chickens for a little bit. We got 10 new babies, the middle of August. So funny story on that. Uh, it's been so warm here that we decided we could brood the babies up in the coop. And I've got 8 big girls, but one I don't think is going to make it through the winter. And she, as it is, she almost didn't make it through our last heat wave. So, she's doing good, but she's not been laying. She's actually molting right now, which is the reason that she's not been laying. So we've got 8 big girls, and then one of our hens hatched out 4 eggs and raised those babies up. And one was for sure a rooster, and I think another one was a rooster. One was definitely crowing, so we took the 2 that I suspected were roosters to a new home. So we have 2 of those 4 left, and they're 12 weeks now. I think they were born on Father's Day. And I'm still not sure if one of the 2 that's left isn't a rooster as well. But it hasn't crowed, so I'm not sending it away. But my 6 of my big girls are almost 2.5 years old now, so they're getting up there in chicken years. And so we decided we wanted to get some more chicks this year yet, since I didn't have to brood them in the house and I could just do it in the coop. And I was supposed to just get 6 babies, and I had called Fleet Farm, and they were supposed to be getting chicks on the Wednesday that I was going to go into town and get them, and they had 3 breeds I wanted. So we get there, and they only had 2 of the breeds that I wanted. So I knew Tractor Supply had the other breed that I wanted. So I was going to get some at Fleet Farm and then go to Tractor Supply and get the other ones. And I was like, okay, I'll have 2 of the Sapphire Gems and 2 of the Americanas. And then I was like, no, wait, I'll take 3 of the Sapphire Gems and 3 of the Americanas. So that was my 6. But I still wanted the Australorps. So we drove to Tractor Supply. And at Tractor Supply, you have to get them in a minimum of 4. So I had to get 4 Australorps, and that's how chicken math works. And I was like, well, because the reason that I got 6 from Fleet Farm was because I thought, well, they're not being brooded up in the house, and so it's not like I'm going to be watching them as closely as I did my big girls. So I was expecting to lose, 1 or 2 babies. That's not uncommon. So I ended up with 10. All 10 babies are thriving. We didn't lose any. And so the other day I had to move them from the coop into the run because, well, now we replaced the run roof and put a different pitch on it so it doesn't leak anymore during the rain. So I could move the babies into the run because they were outgrowing the space that I had given them. And yeah, so now I have, if you've been doing the math, I had 5 big girls from my original flock left. Then 3 that we got last September. So they're big girls too, but they're not from my original flock. 2 more babies. They're the ones that we had hatched. And now 10 3-week-old babies. Oops. So anyway, today I had to go reattach the hardware cloth to the outside of the coop because we had to cut down some of the supports to make the pitch of the roof come down more. So we had to remove some of that hardware cloth. So I was out there doing that. And then one of my hens, she's my biggest. I think she weighs like 15 pounds. She always gets a really, really poopy butt. So she needed a bath. And so it's just been one of those days, just doing a lot of yard work. So you get me no makeup, but I wanted to pop on because there's some really exciting news that some of you might be interested in. Hi, sorry to interrupt the video, but I hope you're enjoying the content. If you are, please be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Also, just to help the YouTube analytics, if you can play the video all the way through to the end, even if you're not watching it, it just helps YouTube know that my content is helpful to people, and that will help me grow my channel. Now we'll get back to the video. If you have ever thought about wanting a continuous glucose monitor, but you're not diabetic, so your doctor is not going to prescribe it, and even if your doctor did prescribe it, your insurance company might decline it because you don't meet whatever criteria. Now there are some continuous glucose monitors that are over the counter. So, well, by over the counter, I mean you have to order them online, but you don't need a prescription. So, earlier this year, we knew that there was one, at least, that had gotten FDA approval to be sold over the counter, and it was by Dexcom. It was supposed to come out this summer, and of course, it didn't come out until the end of August. So I guess technically it's still summer, but whatever. So how it works is I'll place the link down where you can get it, but it is the Dexcom Stelo, Stelo. The Stelo is $99 for 2 sensors, which gets you 1 month, which is because they last 14 days each. Or you can do a subscription, which you can delay or cancel at any time, and that brings the cost down to $89 a month. So that is, if you were like, well, you've got extra members in the family, and so you each want to take a turn, then you might want to do the subscription. So for the Stelo, how it's different from the prescription? Well, first of all, you might be thinking, why do I want a continuous glucose monitor? Well, because if you're not diabetic, why do you want a continuous glucose monitor? It's a good way to see what foods are affecting you. If you're, just starting to go low carb and you're thinking, oh, that bread isn't going to raise my glucose. Well, you can use yourself as an experiment. Eat that piece of bread or that half a cup of rice or that sweet potato or those grapes or whatever and see what it does to your blood sugar. When it spikes your blood sugar, and then you can also see how long it takes to come back down. Now, of course, you can do that with a blood glucose monitor, but then you have to be pricking your finger before you eat, and then 2 hours after you have eaten, and then possibly 3 hours, and then possibly 4 hours, because you need to see that trend of where it's coming down. You also don't have an app that you can look at so that you can see the graph and the trend. Strips can add up depending on the meter that you have. And if you're using the Keto Mojo because you want to also test your blood ketones, then you're having to, it's $60 for 60 glucose strips and 60 ketone strips for the Keto Mojo GKI Plus, which is their newest meter. So you can see how those would add up. And if you just wanted to get the ketone strips and you wouldn't have to test your ketones as much as the glucose, then that would save you some money there. But it's really just good to be able to see how foods are affecting you so that you can kind of gauge what is, what doesn't spike your blood sugar, because when you spike your blood sugar, then in turn you're spiking your insulin. And so now with these, if you are a type 2 diabetic and you are on insulin, you cannot use this. You either need to have your doctor write a script, and if your insurance company denies it, then reach out to Dexcom or Abbott, which is the ones that make the Freestyle, they're the Libres. And I know for sure the Libre has a coupon that either brings it down to $75 for the month, or it brings the price of $75 down. I can find out more if that's something that you're interested in. Just leave a comment. So that would be if you're on insulin, you have to do a prescription one, but you don't have to go through your insurance company. And very often, if you're not going through your insurance company, and it's just a cash pay, Dexcom and Abbott will reduce the price. So my hope is, as these over-the-counters become more and more popular, it will bring the prescription ones down in price as well. But we'll see. So the Stelo, the reason that you can't use it if you are on insulin is because it does not read below 70. So if it's saying low, but it won't tell you below 70, you can either just ignore it. If you're feeling fine, you don't have to do a finger stick. But if you're feeling like you might be, maybe you ate something because you were trying to test and see how it affected you, and it caused a reactive hypoglycemic episode, then you might want to do a finger stick, just to see. If you're not diabetic, that's not dangerous. But I used to have reactive hypoglycemia, and I could get down into the 50s, the low 50s, and I would need to just eat something because I was so shaky and just felt like I could pass out because I had spiked my insulin and then crash. So, yeah, so it does not read below 70. There are no alarms on it, which is nice because at night, if it were to say you were going high or low, you won't get woken up. But that's why if you're on insulin, you can't use it because it's not going to give you the best, it's not going to give you the best data. Okay. So now there's, I don't have the Stelo yet. I have not bit the bullet and done it, but I just wanted to share with everyone, in case that was something that you were interested in. Sometime in the near future, Abbott, the maker of the Freestyle Libres, will be releasing their over-the-counter CGM called Lingo. And everything I'm talking about is for the United States. I don't know what other countries are doing. So Lingo will run similar to the Dexcom Stelo. Doesn't measure ketones. Though I did hear a little blurb somewhere that there may be coming at some point in time a continuous ketone monitor. I don't know. But so there will be the Dexcom, or there is the Dexcom Stelo, and then there will be the Abbott Libre. And I'm hoping once, we get another one or two of these over-the-counter meters in, or CGMs on the market, that will help create competition and help drive down the price. So if you're like, well, how do I interpret the results? The app will give you, so if you have your phone, you'll be able to see what the app is saying. So you'll be able to like pinpoint, oh, I ate this food and an hour later I went up to 200. And then it took 6 hours to come back down to 90. It's just really going to help you understand how the foods are affecting your blood sugar and how insulin sensitive you are. Because the quicker that you come back down to baseline, the more insulin sensitive you are. Now, it's also going to be a way of you can see what helps to bring your glucose down quickly. So let's say you eat dinner. Then 15, 20 minutes, you're done eating, you go for a nice walk. Well, your glucose peaks at about 60 minutes. So if you go for that walk within that first 60 minutes, that's going to help use up the fuel that you just took in. So it should help blunt that glucose rise and bring it back down to baseline quicker. So that's another way to use that data to see how metabolically healthy you are. So I think it's a good tool. Now, if you are the type of person that the numbers make you crazy and then you're just going to be obsessing about it and hyper focused on it, don't get it. Don't get it, because I'm already seeing so many people that have gotten it because it ships really, really fast. So you order it and the shipping is actually coming. So you're not ordering it through Amazon, but Amazon is doing the shipping of it. And so it's like 1 or 2 days and you've got it. But now I'm hearing people, oh my gosh, it said overnight that I was low. Well, did you feel any different than any other nights that you didn't have it? No? Then don't worry about it. You've always gone below 70 or whatever. That's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you need to treat. But what I'm seeing is more and more people are saying, because these CGMs are not, the specs aren't set up for people eating low carb. So in this CGM's mind, not that it really has a mind, but you know what I mean, the people that programmed it, they're thinking, oh, 100 is a normal blood glucose. 100 is not a normal blood glucose. Maybe for right away in the morning, because everyone's glucose is higher, it can be that. But you should not be running 100 or 120 or whatever. And it's saying 70 is low. 70 is not a low blood sugar for a normal person. If you're type 1 diabetic or even type 2 diabetic, where you're used to always running high and now you're slowly getting into normal ranges, those normal ranges can seem low while your body is adjusting. And so, you want to slowly lower that. But for a regular person, dropping down, and especially one eating low carb, dropping down to, 60, 65, 70, that's not low. But this CGM is saying it's low. So now I've seen on more than one occasion, someone said, oh, it said I was low because I was below 70. Now this person felt fine. And so it said, I should treat it. So they took a little bit of honey and it spiked their blood sugar and it took a while for it to come back down. They should not have done that. But it's a good learning. But if they wouldn't had the CGM, they wouldn't have been hyper focused on that and they wouldn't have spiked their blood sugar and then they wouldn't have felt like crap. So if it's something that's going to cause you to hyper focus on or like just make you crazy because you see the numbers and these are numbers that you would have had, but you just wouldn't have known that, don't waste your money on it. But if you're like, nope, I'll be fine. I understand how the body works. I understand if it goes below 70, if I'm feeling weird, then do a finger stick and double check it and then maybe get up and move. It doesn't mean you need to eat sugar. Eat, as long as you're not diabetic. Okay. But if you're a type 2 diabetic and you're not on insulin, then you're not going to be where you need to treat anyway. And if you get up and move, that will often bring your glucose up. So again, this is not something that someone on insulin can use. You have to use either like the Libre Freestyle or the Dexcom 6 or 7. You cannot use one of these over the counter. It would not be safe for you. Also, if you are under 18, you're not supposed to, it says not for people under 18. That is probably a liability issue. Say the sensor gets put on wrong or causes an infection or any number of things, and someone under 18 used it, I suppose the company, if they didn't have that disclaimer on there, could be held liable. So anyway, I am excited about this because I think it will really help bring in that data, help people really understand how these foods are affecting their bodies. You won't have to finger stick all the time because some people just don't like to do that. And I think it will be a good tool for many people, but I think there are many people that just shouldn't even bother with it. So hopefully the freestyle or the Abbott Lingo will be out soon. But at least for now, there is the Stello. And if you do use it or you plan on using it or you start using it, drop something in the comments and let us know your thoughts on it and how you like it. Once I do get mine, I'm not in any rush to get one. I have better things that I could spend $89 on at this point in time. Then I'll let you know, but it is out there and it is available. So yeah, maybe it's something that will be a help to you. So I hope that this was helpful. And if it was, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks, and we'll talk again soon.